Super Mario Bros. Is one of the best-selling games ever. Honestly, they made millions of them, and it was such a fundamental game that was so great and brought so much new life to video games. It's even attributed to bringing video games back into the home, because without it, I'm not sure if Nintendo would have been able to put out the NES and had it be such a success. But Nintendo put out the NES and it had this game with it, and it was sold like hotcakes. Everyone loves it, everyone plays it. If you've played a video game, you've probably played Super Mario Bros. This was my first game to actually play, and probably many more people, it's their first game as well. So when someone says that a boxed copy of Super Mario Bros. Sold for over $100,000, it's very hard to believe. But we're going to talk about why it was over $100,000 and what kind of made it special enough to be able to be sold for that much. Well, first off, it was sealed, which meant no one had opened it, no one had played it, no one had taken it out of the box. And honestly, that's a really cool thing. I have some boxed games up there, as well as 2 sealed games. It's very hard to find NES games that are sealed. I've only found 2 since I've been collecting, and honestly, whenever you find them, usually they are outlandishly expensive. I got lucky with mine, they were only 50 bucks. That was very lucky. But these games are not as special, the ones that I have. However, this Super Mario Bros. Is very special, and that is why it sold for over $100,000. $100,000 and $150. So $100,150 for this sealed game. Now, it does have a bit of specialty to it, and we're gonna lead into that. But the most recent one that has sold that was sealed sold for $30,000, and that was back in 2017. And honestly, that still is an outlandish price. That is very expensive. You could buy a new car with that. You could put a big hefty down payment on a house with that. But we're gonna talk about something even crazier. Now, this Super Mario Bros. Is sealed, but it has a special seal on it as well. It does not have the normal seal around it that most games have it. That plastic wrap that is in an H seam or some kind of seam like that makes it known, hey, no one has ever opened this. This one is different because it has a Nintendo sticker over where you would open it, which is an interesting fact in itself. So let's go way back to before the NES was a nationwide hit here in the United States. Nintendo found some test markets and they sold some games and some consoles. They had LA and they had New York. Well, when they sold these games, they didn't have that cellophane plastic wrap around these games. They only had the sticker over it, which means not only is this a very limited amount of games, this game never got opened, which is absolutely insane. That is over 30 years ago now, and to find a game that was that rare, first off, to find one that's that rare is hard, but to find it sealed is even harder, and that's one reason I think this price rose up so high. And honestly, it would be cool to have in your collection, to be able to have one of the very first Nintendo games for the NES in the United States for the NES is absolutely insane. Now, I know Nintendo in Japan with the Famicom have been selling by then, and some of the games have been selling there, but this was the first time that it had ever been sold in the United States, which is absolutely crazy. I don't know if I could wrap my brain around spending $100,000 for this, but if I was rich, I'm talking millions and millions of dollars, I'd want to pick one of these up. Don't get me wrong, that's really awesome. So I have some rare games, I got some sealed games, but nothing of that caliber. Like the rare games that I have are here, they're just way up here. And that's why this is such a sought after game, or was a sought after game. It's been bought now, and honestly, I'm surprised that it went for this much. I could see people bidding it up, maybe around to that $30 or $40 or maybe $50,000, but I did not expect it to go this high, which is very awesome, because that in my mind sees there are people out there that are collecting games, and I know there are a ton of people out there collecting games, but you don't hear about this caliber of game collecting very often. So that's something that I think is really cool. Now, a lot of people have little Samsons, a lot of people have Earthbounds, a lot of people have stuff like that. Something that's not necessarily rare, but is either rare because of low limited quantity, or because it was late in the year, or just because it's sought after, or late in the season cycle of the console. That's what I mean. But this is not late. It is rare because there are limited amounts, but there weren't limited amounts after that. So that's one thing that I think is very unique about this, is the fact that yes, this is a game that is really awesome. So that is what the news I'm bringing to you. How in the world could someone spend $100,000 on one game? That's how. Find a Super Mario Bros. Boxed for the NES that has one of those seals on it. Because if you find one, you're about to be in a lot of money. So with that being said, what do you guys think? Comment down below. Would you spend $100,000 on one game? Or would you be like me and spend $100,000 on 100,000 games? Not that many, but I'd get a bunch, let's be honest here. But with that being said, this is something that's weird and wacky and newsworthy, and I wanted to see what you guys thought about it. I wanted to bring it to your attention because it was just released to the public via some articles, and I thought it was very interesting. So make sure you comment down below. With that being said, since you're here and you're watching, I want to say thank you so much for making it this far into the video. If you want to chat with me, hit up Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. There's a Big Cartel, Amazon, Patreon. All those things are down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that join button, and make sure you hit that bell notification because it lets you know when I put up new videos. With that being said, make sure you have a good day.